what was really going on. The first question that must come to mind is there really something else going on? We will tell you that in order to get to the truth, you must be silent and question everything. Look at the world from a what-if point of view. Then ask yourself, what if that is wrong? What if what I was taught as a child wasn't even close to right? What if the opposite is the real truth? You must go through the what ifs to get to the what is. To get to the what is really going on. Okay? You have to quit assuming what is based on what you were programmed to believe, based on the agenda that's been promoted to you as you got older, and you just automatically assumed it. That has to stop. You guys have to start thinking about what is really going on, and to do that, to get to the questioning of that what is, and that is the what ifs. Okay, what if that wasn't true? What if what they're telling me they don't even realize isn't true? What if? Okay, you have to write that stuff down. You've got to write it down in your journal in part 3, the journal writing part of My Guided Journey. What if it's not true? And when you sit there and you write down, when you inquire about any what if to yourself, as soon as you write it down, you're going to feel what that inquiry is really telling you. You're going to feel what that is, and you're going to write that into the second question here, which is, how did that make you feel? That what if. And then you're going to, from that writing it down and feeling what it felt like, you're going to realize what that is. And then you're going to write that down, what you realized in the third area here. Then the fourth and final one, you can't take the action on any of this until you have the realization about what is. Okay? You will start out with the what if, and you will bump in. You will realize what the what is. Okay? And that's when you've got the power, you've got the credibility, personal credibility to take the action. Okay? Otherwise, you would never know how to go about it. You might wonder about it. You might even be. You see a lot of people who are cynical about, that's not true. That's an agenda. They're trying to program you, but they never really walk through the process of flushing it out for themselves. That's where you miss out. Is if you go along with the drama and the trauma and everybody's idea about what might be happening, that doesn't serve you. That doesn't serve your truth. And that's what this is all about. This is about reaching your personal truth. You can't move on and do better than you have until you have found what that personal truth is. All right? Okay, Ray, who do we have with us tonight?
We have Mary Elizabeth and Linda Schwartz and Christine. She's back with us again. She said she'd be back, and here she is.
Now, Christine,
Marcus and Leonard. She's fairly new with us.
Okay, great.
She's been on a few times.
Glad to have you, Christine.
We're always glad to see a repeat customer. And Bridget. Who we're going to get around to in just a second.
And Bridget left a comment on this post today. Bridget's been with us for over a year, well over a year.
Yeah.
And Bridget has come a long way about, really getting herself, so she can move forward in a direction that really suits her, that fits her, that is her. Okay? Because after all, remember this year, the first insight we did for the year was about being who you are. All right? That's what Bridget is really getting a grip on. All right. So what was it that Bridget had to say, Ray?
What did she say? Okay. My speaking
And
voice.
would you put this up in front of the camera so people know what it looks like when you leave a comment on one of these insights on the blog post? That's what it looks like. And it's right there on the blog post, okay? So I love it when you guys leave these, and I always reply, and you're going to hear this. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this morning, Bridget said, lately, I'm starting to see more and more how many people around me in my youth and later on in work environments have tried to make me feel guilty. I've taken on...
That's control, trying to control you through guilt.
Right, and shame, yeah.
And shame, right.
I've taken on a generalized feeling of guilt, and I know that I need to learn to have stronger boundaries. Looking at some national leaders around the world, their whole modus operandi seems to be to make others look guilty only to avoid the truth about themselves. Ooh, that's an astute observation.
That is absolute. She's seeing now. Hold on. She is seeing what is by inquiring within herself long enough. Bridget's been doing her journal work, and that's how she's learned this. That's how she has derived at these understandings. Go ahead, Ray.
She wouldn't have felt like that a year ago.
No, she wouldn't have. Bridget, you wouldn't have seen it then. But now you can see it without being cynical about it. Just seeing what is not cynical. It is what is. Okay, go ahead, Ray.
And Linda Deir responded, great insight, Bridget. This will be a major breakthrough for you going forward. Once you can see what's really going on, you're no longer a prisoner of it. You're free to move forward toward the life you intended to live, the one you planned before you incarnated into this illusion.
That's right, because this world, you guys, is an illusion, okay? Where we came from is reality. When we are released from this world, where we go back to is where we came from. That's reality. This is the illusion, all right?
Yeah, it's like a giant video game somebody is playing with us.
And we're like pawns in the game,
right,
being moved around, going, oh my God, what do I do next? You will see it as soon as you're released, all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
you guys, I want your questions. Bring on those questions, all right?
All right. Well, I don't have a question, but I have some observations that I made after I read this a couple of times today to refresh my memory.
Okay.
What is really going on? I mean, we see, as the average person sees the same news story on every channel. They see it on every TV channel, every radio, every internet.
There's no accident.
Well, no. Yeah, that's right. It's the same story repeated over and over again. And what's really going on, you might say there's a hidden agenda in the programming. Now, I use the word programming rather than hidden agenda because the programming started when you first arrived here as a new person. The minute you got here, the programming started.
Right. You stepped into the illusion, and that illusion included the programming.
Right. Right. You were all of a sudden hooked up to all these places that are bombarding you with who, what, where, when, how, and all this other things that you're supposed to live your life by. All right. Now, so how do you spot one of these hidden agendas that are buried in the programming?
As soon as it happens,
right,
before you get pulled in and you lose yourself again, okay, in that illusion. Okay, go ahead.
Because most people's antenna is not up. And they can pick it right up. Oh, no, that's not right.
You know who picks it up?
Kids.
Yes, they pick it up. Why do they pick it up, Ray?
Because they are open to the truth. They come in here with truth.
They come in here clean.
Right.
Clean. They come in here awake, actually, and then until they start shutting down and protecting themselves, and this world starts to dominate, literally threaten them. And then they really pull back and they do all the things that I talk about in part 2 of my guided journey, the process. And I start out with chapter 1 through 18, and it walks you through the beginning of your life as it started to unfold and you started losing your way. Part 2 of my guided journey. You guys, you need to go back to this. We're going to be doing webinars on this. I'm working on building the first one and getting this thing rolling out right so it's sequential as Ray and I put these out. But it's going to cover part 2. This is where you're going to really do the repair work on your life that get you back into who you are. Okay? Okay, go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so how do you spot this programming hidden away in whatever it is they're talking about? Well, there's a few things that are obvious. There's an endless repetition of a topic or a way a topic is delivered or
in other words, it's not so much what's being said, but how it's being said. I think that's what you're saying.
Right, they're repeating.
It's reinforced by other people saying the same thing,
right,
making you doubt yourself.
Right, it's the same topic, it's the same delivery, it's the same point of view until you're bombarded, until people think it's true.
Until people assume.
Assume it's true.
That's
there you go.
That's the worst part of it, is when you start to assume it. Assumptions happen, let me say this.
Yeah.
Assumptions happen when you become fearful of asking questions. When somebody says something and it seems so dominant that you go, and it doesn't sound like it's right, it doesn't feel right, and really the intelligent thing for you to do, the thing that would honor who you are, would be to say, what do you mean by that? What does that mean? And they could turn around and say, are you stupid? Okay, I know this because I always ask that question. I'd always go, how do you know that that's true? Or where did you find that out? Where did you learn that? Why do you know, what makes you think that's true? And they'd go, are you stupid, Linda? That's what happened to me in my childhood. And you know what? They said, you never learn, do you? And I said, no, I really don't learn to back down. I don't really learn to be intimidated by your need to impose that on me and insist that I go along with that agenda. I don't go with that. I don't care if you think I'm stupid. I will ask the question again if I don't understand what you meant. Okay? You guys have to be so true to yourself that you absolutely will not let anybody back you into that corner, making you feel like, oh, I don't want to look stupid and I don't want to ask him. No, you ask him straight up, okay?
And that's where the guilt sneaks in.
It does.
That Bridget was talking about.
It breaks you down. It excludes you. You start to not have boundaries like Bridget talked about. Bridget comes back and she goes, I need to have boundaries. No more. That's what I'm talking about. Don't even let them put you in that spot, on the spot, in that position. Ask the question. So why do you think that? Where did you learn that? Where did you read that? How do you know that? Okay, they're not going to expect that, all right?
They can't tell you.
And they will be floored when you have the guts, okay, to ask that question. What, you're not going to go with everybody else? You're not just going to believe me? And you're not going to question me? I mean, you're going to question me? Who do you think you are? Oh, I'm Bridget. That's who I know I am. And answer the question.
Yeah, Linda Schwartz says, she calls it joining the club. They really want you to join some kind of their club.
That's right.
You know, that's a good observation.
That is, Linda. Yep.
And she was kind of isolated. She was terminally rebellious as a child.
But you know, I want to say that this rebellion can work against you too. So you've got to be able to take this part of you and let it express itself, no matter what the blowback might be, and stay true to yourself. Continue to breathe as they're blowing back at you, and don't be rebellious at your own demise. Sometimes we can be rebellious to the point where it just destroys us. Okay, rebellion is good. It makes you question. It makes you push back. Don't push me there. Okay, that's a good thing, but it can also work against you. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so the first part is you see this endless repetition, and if they see you rebelling or asking questions, then they move to different tactics used to persuade you to do the same thing, think a certain way, but they'll deliver it in a new way.
To get you to go their way.
Right.
Okay.
Because the first one didn't seem to work well, so now we'll put it all on TV. You know, first we just put it up on the internet.
So now they're going to overpower you with so much. They said it. They're doing it. And it makes you feel like it's designed to make you feel like you're the one that's wrong.
Right. What? You don't want to do this? All right. And then the third thing is pretty obvious. Right off the bat, you get a gut feeling that something here is not right.
And that's what I was saying. You feel it. Trust it. That when you guys feel that, get your journal out in part 3 and write down what that was that you felt, so you don't lose that moment and you start building on that instead of letting it degrade you. Okay?
Right. That's the first thing you should do. Write it down, especially things that are odd and out of the ordinary.
Ray, do we have a question there?
Not yet.
We have something there. Is that Linda? Okay. Go ahead, Ray.
That's it.
More questions, you guys.
Linda's
Come on.
having a hard time being a grown-up, she said.
But it's important to be who you are, and whatever that's called. Is it grown up? Is it whatever? Don't worry about what it's called. Just being who you are and doing and building on that. Okay, that's how you're going to live that fulfilling life, the life you intended before you got here. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah. Okay. So we've identified the 3 things to look for: repetition, a different tactic if the first repetition.
They keep pounding on you.
And you get gut feeling that, hey,
doesn't feel right.
That can't be right.
Right.
So now, how do you respond? There's different ways I guess you should react or respond to those situations. And you touched on the first one about getting quiet and observe what's going on and start asking questions. Now, little kids get away with that for a while.
When they're really small?
When they're really little.
That's when they get in trouble.
Right.
I know when I asked the questions when I was really young, really like a toddler, a baby, the answer I got to the question was one of these, wham! And I found myself across the floor. You know, in some cases, I find myself across the floor, waking up at some point in the future and go and feel my face and go, oh, it's not that what I asked was wrong and I knew that. It's that who I asked it, who was there when I asked the question, when I questioned what they said, was what I had to watch out for in the future. Like I had to have eyes in the back of my head, right?
That's exactly right. Okay, so you talked about the babies, the new people can only ask for so long, but when a baby asks a question, why is it
the relentless why?
The relentless why, and they get an answer that they know the person is lying to them. The typical reaction of the baby is what? They start to cry. They get an answer that they didn't like, and they knew it wasn't right. And
I don't remember doing that.
Well, yeah, you just got smacked, but
no,
babies,
but I don't remember
will cry.
I don't remember doing that, right?
Because it doesn't comprehend.
I don't agree with that. Maybe some of you did that, but here was what I did. I heard that nonsensical answer, something that didn't even make sense, didn't respect my question. That's what I have to say. And I would go off to myself and I would start to ask my guides. I'd have this conversation that would start again with my guides where I would play and cry, in their presence, in the sandbox. And I would have all these dialogues going on, asking questions, because I wasn't getting my answers. The people in this world were answering me with nonsense. And I knew what didn't make sense. It did me no good at all. It was almost, they would have been better off saying, why don't you just shut up, Linda? And that's pretty much what I did. I took the hint, I took off, and I had this dialogue with my guides. Okay, equivalent to that is taking part 3, start writing down what your why questions are. What you didn't get answered as a little kid, that rebellion, if it's still alive inside of you, it has why questions. It did not get answered, all right? Not intelligent answers. You were around idiots. Sorry, but you were. All right. The world's filled with them, you guys. Okay, and you start asking those why questions that you didn't get answered, those elementary why questions. You start right there, and you start to see the awarenesses come through. You start to see the answers bleed through on these pages as you continue to ask these why questions that still linger. If you are rebellious, if you are still rebellious, you never got those questions answered.
Right.
I promise you that.
And you know, when it stops about the time, the asking why, and your parents get to the point, where they smack you or they say, well, I'm the parent, that's why.
They answer you with nonsensical answers.
Right. They get to that point, and then pretty much the questioning stops dead still in its tracks when you get to school.
Well, what happens is you stop asking them why, and you start talking to yourself. This is self-talk, but it's not self-talk. You're having a dialogue with your higher self, with your guides. You're having a dialogue with where you came from, because it's natural for you. You always got your answers before you came here. You always understood before you came here.
Okay, I made a note here. One of the most important questions to ask about a situation that just doesn't feel right is, who benefits from this situation if it passes or if it gets implemented? Who benefits?
That's the critical question.
Probably isn't you.
Let me think about the times that it was me. Oh,
none.
That many times.
Yeah.
None. All right. Yeah. It's real easy to identify the agenda when you ask yourself the question Ray just said: who benefits by me, by any of us following that lead? All right. They're not a leader until you follow them. All right. They want to be a leader. They want to lead you. They want you to believe what they're promoting. But is it true? Is that what's really going on? Is that really true? And if it's not really true, it's not what's really going on, yet they're promoting that. Why are they doing it? For what? For whose benefit are they doing that? It's as simple as that. And when you have your journal and you start to document these, you start questioning what you're questioning, and you start documenting that questioning. You can't get trapped. You will see the truth. You will find the truth. The truth will bleed through on these pages.
That's right.
So
let's get back. That takes us right up to the distinguishing the what ifs from the what is.
Right.
You come full circle. Once you start questioning.
That's the what ifs.
You're questioning
the what ifs.
The what ifs.
To get to the truth, the what is.
Right. You want me to do this, or you want me to believe this, or you want to pass a new law that affects me this way. What if?
What if I go that way?
Right.
Okay. Part 3, the journal writing. What if I go that way? Write it in there. What it is that they're promoting. What if I go that way? And if I go that way, what does that look like for me?
Who benefits?
No. What does that look like for me? You don't have to go into who benefits. You know they benefit from it. I mean, but what does that do to me?
Right.
Okay.
Not for me.
Yeah. What does that do? And can you imagine it doing something for you? Really? Does it do something for you? Can you, if you can figure out what that is, write it in there. But more than likely, it's doing something to you. There's a price that you're going to pay for abiding by that, for agreeing to that, for following that. All right? You guys, this is coming up tonight because this is getting to be more and more and more important, that you guys start to realize what's really going on. You start to pause and say, wait a second, not only what is really going on, but why am I participating in it at all? You need to ask the hard questions. You need to start to figure out the truth about who this is. The first insight for this year, again, had to do with you being who you are. Fully. No more games. You can't fake it anymore. In fact, wasn't that the mantra? No more faking it.
No more faking.
You can't fake it anymore. Because even if you do try to fake it, the people around you, they will catch you faking it. They'll laugh under their breath. And they'll catch you faking it. They will know that you're weak. You're not weak. None of you are weak. You may not completely connect with what the heck is going on, but you will. Every time something goes on and you see how it affects you, write down what that is, and then write down, what if it's not true? What does that look like? Write it down. And then you will see what is. What is the truth. Okay, the truth is truth and love. The truth never lies. The truth can't lie. All right, that would be you when you first came here. You didn't lie. You came in as the pure truth that there is, the pure truth and love from where you came from, that you came, that with your guides that followed you here, they come from truth and love. They all support you, all right? You have the best team backing you up if you just stop long enough to ask yourself, what is really going on? What if that isn't true? And inquire within yourself. Go ahead, Ray.
You know who always speaks the truth? Babies. You know how they always say, out of the mouth of babes comes the truth.
Right.
How they see it.
And a lot of times they get in trouble for it. I remember early on, I got in so much trouble for acknowledging something and it just came out of my mouth before I had the what do you call it? The reasoning.
The age of reason.
To stop myself before, oh my God, I let that out of my mouth. It's not that I didn't know it. It's not that I didn't feel it and believe in myself, because I did. But man, did I have to be careful where I voiced that. And that is not how you should be living. If you feel that pressure on you in your life, then you need to write down what that is in part 3 of your journal. You need to flesh out how it made you feel, and then what you realize, and then the action you're going to take to change your environment. Because you guys, you didn't come here to hold your breath. You didn't come here to miss your life, because that's what you're going to do. You're going to hold your breath, miss your life, you're going to suffer, and you're going to get sick. If you're doing those things, you are definitely going to get sick, because the body will do it as a last-ditch resort. The body will kick in and say, okay, we're going to do something here to get your attention, to get you to see this and stop this, so you can live the life you intended before you got here. We intended for you to do that. We're on your side. We don't want you to miss your life. That's why the body gets sick as a last resort to get their attention. All right? Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, Denise Nierstadt, she's with us. She has a good observation. Random thought. She calls it a random thought. Do you think that we are placed among certain people, the group of people that you surround yourself with, okay?
Yeah.
Are we placed among that certain group to make people like you question more? Is that why you're put there in this group, is to question each other, or question more?
Okay. The fact that you explained it with the detail that you used to explain it is absolutely true.
Right. That's a great random thought.
That is your truth blaring at you. It's just loud and clear. You can't miss it. Now, what you need to do, Denise, to honor that, you need to write it in your journal. You need to make sure that you write that thought down that you had in your journal so you don't lose track of it. Date it and walk through that process. Write it down. How did it make you feel? What did you realize? And then you will take an action you never took before. You will take it to a level that you never dared to take it before. And that level is going to be something that's way more true to yourself and who you are, okay? That's how you live your life. This is how you guys are going to fix your life. You're going to stop. You're going to write it down. You're going to inquire about how it made you feel and what you realize, so you have the ability to take the action. You will not have it if you don't take those steps. That's why I wrote this journal, My Guided Journey, all right, on Amazon. It's only in paperback because, of course, it's a journal. You write in it, you know. By the way, this is also available on our website, lindadeir.com. When you go to, you'll see shopping. You can find the version you can print right off my website when you download it. It's $9.95 to buy it off the website. And you can just download the pages right off the website and print the pages you want and have it available to you, you know, whenever you want. So you don't have to order it through Amazon. Amazon's $10.99 with what, $4, $5 shipping.
Shipping and tax and everything else, you know. And we also do that because there's some countries that people like your books, they can't get a paperback. Right.
Amazon doesn't supply 8 paperbacks in those countries. So
yeah.
I was forced to do that, okay, for those people. But anyway, you need to start tracking your steps to really get to flush out your realness, your truth. So your life is the life you intend to live, the one that is exciting, the one that you came here to live, the one that when you came here, you said, I can't wait to get to this world so I can do what I came here to do. That life, okay? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Denise says, thank you, I will. All right. And Lori Sorensen joined us. Lori said last week she'd be back tonight. And
she's
here
back.
She is.
Lori, you tell the truth, Lori.
Yeah, tell the truth. Mary Elizabeth, how do you help others who are so lost and so far from what's really going on? I have had so many people come to me and tell me their problems lately. Honestly, it's kind of always been this way my whole life. I feel so responsible when people come to me. Also, these people usually are not friends, but strangers, coworkers, customers, people she just met.
They're the best people to work with.
Right.
Your family makes it very hard to work with them because they think they have leverage with you. All right.
And your friends want you to be just like them.
Okay, so these people that are, first of all, Mary, you are meant to do this work, guidance, counseling, coaching. You know, once you get this under your belt, once you understand yourself and you're solid in yourself first, you can't do something that you haven't walked through, okay? You can't tell somebody to walk over those flames unless you walked over them first, all right? You really can't do it responsibly. So you're in the throes of learning this curriculum within yourself. And these people are they came to me in my 20s too. So I remember that. And I would help them. What I did and how I started out is I let them do the talking. Many times I didn't say anything to them about my advice. I just let them be heard. I learned to listen. As you're learning to do this, I can tell you this too, I continued to do my journaling. I would write about who that was and what they asked me. These people were my parents' age that would come to me and consult with me. I didn't understand that at all, but I really felt bad for them. I understand how you feel, Mary. And I started to write in my journal about what they were asking me and what was coming to my mind as I was writing it down, as I listened to them bleed. I listened to their pain. I learned so much from them. So that's my advice to you right now at this stage in your life.
That's wonderful practice when people come up to you, random strangers, you're in a coffee shop or something like that, and they come up to you and they just start talking to you and they ask for advice on something. I mean, that's
they're desperate.
Well, they're not only desperate, but that person's put in your path to make you sharp. You know,
it's to let you know your purpose.
Right.
You're being put into practice. Okay, this is practice time. This is where you and I can only tell you that you're going to learn a lot more if you do a lot of listening and a lot of inquiry, a lot of writing about what happened and what you felt from it and what you realized from it. Okay.
And you'd be surprised at the answers that you give them, you know, that just come right out.
It does.
It's not some canned answer. It just comes right out. And
it can't be canned. If it's going to be canned, shut up.
Right.
Do not do that. Do not insult the other person with cliches. Okay.
Right, there you go.
Do not do that. Okay. If you feel like you're going to do that, it's because you're trying to be a know-it-all. You're trying to know it all before you know it all.
Right, exactly. So if you come out, the amazing part is when you come out with an answer or a suggestion to help the person that you would have never thought of. It just came out.
It just comes out.
It was your guides talking through you,
right,
giving them help right on the spot.
It's the best, you guys. It's where you are so authentically connected. Yes. Not only are you, but the fact that you are you, now the guidance can come through you. Nothing is more pure, and when they feel that information hit them, they just sit there and they go,
wow.
They're like dumbfounded. You hit a chord in them that I've had people just break down and cry right in front of me. And I'm going, what the heck did I say? I mean, what was that? I have to rethink what happened, because as soon as it comes through many times, you will forget what just came through, because it didn't come from you. It came through you from something greater than you. All right?
But when you have those situations, Mary, that somebody does this and you help them, and you know it wasn't canned, it wasn't you, it was somebody speaking through you as a messenger to them. Those are the things you need to write down, because once you write those things down, that's one of those unusual and out of the ordinary
But the whole
things.
sequence, the fact that person that you never met walked up to you and asked you this thing, and then out of you came this wisdom that, sorry, you're not that smart, you know? I mean, I got to tell you, I'm not that smart. They come through me and I'm going, where the heck did that? And the timing of it is perfect. And the sequence of it is perfect. And their response, and then what comes out next is perfect.
Right.
You're channeling the information. It's perfection. You are connected. You are
in the moment.
And you know, that's why I keep telling you guys, life is not supposed to be hard. It's not hard. It just shows up. It's fun. It's like when you were a little kid, things just happened. You were just on this ride. Your life just happened. But it didn't. You were connected. You were still new from the other side. So you were still connected, you guys. And that's what you're going back to. You're bringing this connection back. Not just being in this world. If you think that you're just in this world without any help, if you think you're here by yourself and you were just dropped off to fend for yourself, that's because you think you're just in this world. That's the most painful experience that you will ever have in this life.
That you think that nobody else cares.
That you feel this disconnection. And that's right. That you feel that nobody cares, that you're alone in this world, could not be farther from the truth. If you just learned how to, breathe, and just as that person's talking, that other person's talking you never met before, let them talk. Just give them the heads up. You go ahead, kid. You talk. You let that out. You're safe with me. I don't know if I'm going to answer you. I don't know what's going to come out. I don't have any guarantees for you. I'm going to give you that place, that space. I'm going to hold that space for you so you can express yourself. Maybe for the first time in your whole life, you can finally let it out and bump into it yourself.
Right.
if it doesn't come through me, so you get that extra push to see what it is. It's a flow, you guys. It's a beautiful, beautiful flow. It's like music. It has its own pace, its own harmonies. It's got its own flow. It shows up, okay? Trust in that. Trust yourself. Trust in that whole process. And you know what? If you have compassion for that person, you got it all because your heart is in it, okay? Without you going where they're at. I'm not telling you to go where they're at and bleed with them. I am not telling you to do that. I'm telling you just to just be present for them. Be there and hold that space for them so they can express it, they feel safe, and they can let it out. And then what happens from it is one big surprise after another, all right?
For both of you.
Absolutely for both of you.
And when you, like Linda said, when you go home that night or after work, whatever, and you write down in your journal what that entire situation was, and you study it, that's where you self-realize something.
You will purge so much from it. And here's the extra bonus. You sit down, you do it's called your homework. You do that extra study that you do that really purges what happened. And then you do that just before you go to bed. And when you go to bed, you breathe out what that whole situation was and the writing you did, and go to sleep with that. And let what comes through your night, your dreams, what you wake up in the morning with, understanding. It may not be a dream. It may be something you wake up with in the morning and you just go, oh, I got this thing. Oh my God, it just came through. Okay, it just keeps feeding itself to you, okay? It's endless, you guys.
And Denise said, there's a reason why that person was attracted to you. Why did that person come up with?
Right.
It was in the energy.
It was meant to be. That's right. Denise is right.
It's in the energy.
That's right. There's no accidents, you guys. This life is fascinating. This life is amazing. But you have to realize what's really going on. You can't just let something come to you and that little incident happens and you go, oh, well, that was interesting, and off I go. Let's go shopping, and you just live a ditzy life. I mean, that's not why we came here. If you're paying attention, you're going to get so much more. You're going to get so much more.
And you as a person that they walked up to were putting out the energy of, hey, I'm accessible to give you something you need to know right now. And that's why they walked up to you and talked to you.
But you don't know that. You're just as, in the moment they walked up and talked to you, you're just as much like them in that moment as they are.
Right.
Okay. You're not superior. You're not all wise and knowing. You're just who you are. All right. You're a pawn in the game, just like all of us. The only difference is that you taking these steps to realize what's really going on, dig deeper, is now you're becoming aware of it. Now you know what's really going on. Who would you be if you knew what was really going on? That's the title for tonight's insight. Who would you be if you knew what was really going on? This is how you're going to learn who that is, who you would be, who you really are. So while you're helping someone else, guess what's happening? You're finding out who you really are. All right?
Yeah, I think it's a good training ground, and you can even have some fun with it, say, at a coffee shop or someplace where, what was that one game that people play with their energy when they're in a crowd? You're at a party and you look across the room and you see somebody standing there with their back to you, and you look right at their back or at the back of their head and you put out the energy, hey, turn around and look at me. Hey, turn around and look at me. And you just keep putting that out there. Pretty soon, what do?
That's a kind of off track for tonight. That definitely is.
Well, but
that's
that's how the energy works sometimes.
Yeah, he's talking about just energy and how energy works. But this is about who would you be if you knew what was really going on. That's the whole point to tonight's insight, is who would you be if you knew what was really going on. Here's another way of putting that. Who would you be if you knew what was really going on? Can you handle what's really going on? Can you handle the truth? If somebody was to walk up to you and tell you a truth that was truly true, I mean, it was hardcore true, could you handle it? If that would shock you, if you'd sit back and go, oh my God, I don't know. That caught me by surprise. I don't know what. That's your problem. Just remember that that's your problem. Take your journal out, write down what the truth that they just told you that you know is true. You know it when you hear it. You know it when you feel it. The truth is something you feel is true. And it's hard for you to handle that truth. Write it in your journal. That's your project to work on to get over whatever that is, okay? Whatever that truth is that you happen to be offended by. And I'll tell you right now, whatever truth that you could possibly be offended by is nothing but an old program running your life that programmed you to be offended by it. It's a judgment. It's something that gets in your way that clogs you up. In fact, what we're going to talk about next, and we're getting close to that now, next week is going to be maybe a little shocking what next week's insight is going to be. And it ties right in. This tonight is a good segue into what's coming up next week. Are you guys ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now you got me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah, before we close tonight, before the spirit guides close this session with their closing message about how different would your life be if you knew what was really going on, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, what's going to come up next week, all right? This is getting serious now. Next Tuesday, February 25th, 2020, join me right here live on my Facebook page, Linda Deir Author. This will be a Q&A and commentary with me and my spirit guides, just like tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time, so don't miss it. In Linda's weekly guided insights, my spirit guides will be talking about the spiritual meanings of the coronavirus. A virus like the coronavirus gets unleashed upon the world when humanity can't be reached in any other way. This is a serious attempt to get your attention. So, have things really gotten that bad? If your answer is yes, you are part of the solution. If your answer is no, you must examine the negative attitudes and beliefs that you have. The yes responders have suffered for decades from the increasing negativity of humanity. The no responders like things the way they are. And they don't see any reason, they don't see the growing negativity as a problem. That's going to be next week. Okay, this thing about the coronavirus, I just want to add this one thing to it. The coronavirus has been going on and on and on. The coronavirus, SARS was a
coronavirus.
Was a coronavirus, and MERS was a coronavirus, and there's all different strains of coronaviruses that are basically the flu. Okay,
yeah.
That's what they
influenza.
Yeah, they're influenza, except the coronavirus is an aggressive virus, and one that they're having a hard time finding a vaccine for. Who wants a vaccine, right? Okay, but finding a vaccine for, and then you have to ask yourself, what's really going on with these vaccines? Is it something you really want to, be exposed to? So we're going to talk about this coronavirus thing and where that whole thing is going. The guides are next week. So definitely don't miss that. And one more announcement before we get to the close tonight. This Thursday, February 20th, 2020, at 6 p.m. Pacific time, join us on our Facebook private group, Ask the Universal Channel. The teachers of Ask the Universal Channel will be performing the following. Kathy's Spirit Guides will talk about the importance of taking care of yourself physically. Now, does that tie into this virus thing? Most definitely. If you're not physically fit, if you're not taking care of yourself, eating the right foods, getting rest, getting exercise, doing things for yourself, then your immune system is going to be compromised. And the coronavirus or any virus would have a point of entry through that weakened immune system, all right? Okay, Joy's spirit guides will explain how to identify the signs when the people in your channeling circle are seriously interrupting clear messages coming through. Boy, do I know what that feels like. I'm going to just expand on that for just one moment. I talk about that in the early days. Ask the Universal Channel had its 30-year anniversary last year. 30 years since this was produced, okay? And when I first started teaching people how to use this the right way, that's the key word right there, the right way, the key phrase. A lot of people use talking boards, but they don't use them right. When they don't use them the right way, I had a tremendous amount of problems with people who interrupted the channeling sessions with their nonsense. Or their silly questions. They were spying on somebody else, wanted to know gossip and stuff. I just wouldn't go there, That's not how you use this kind of modality. It's if you want to reach high guidance and high energy, you ask high questions, all right? Questions that help more than just you, but humanity, things that really matter, all right? So this is going to be a fantastic session on Thursday. If you don't belong to our private group, you'll see the link on how to join this group. It's a private group. There is a Ray's the gatekeeper of the group, and he'll let you know what you need to do to get in, all right?
Nobody gets past the gatekeeper.
No, they don't. But ask to join, and then he'll let you know what the protocol is to get in, all right? And then Ray and I will be hosting that event like we do every other Thursday, okay? And don't forget that on the Ask the Universal Channel group, when you are a member of the group, that you get free lessons from the teachers who we taught how to use Ask the Universal Channel that do a A1, number one, fantastic job.
They do.
So all you have to do when you join the group is just put in the day and time you would like to have a lesson from one of the teachers, and they'll respond to you. And be sure to put your time zone in so they know how to respond to you from their time zone and coordinate a good time, all right? So don't miss us next week. This is going to be really, really helpful for you guys to learn how to work with this thing, with the spiritual meaning. If we get the spiritual meaning of things right in our life, then the lessons won't be necessary. The lesson that the coronavirus presents is only there because people are missing the meaning, its meaning, and where they need to make a course correction in their own life. All right. What do we have, Ray?
Okay. Well, Denise now addresses me as Sir Gatekeeper.
Ray loves that.
She wants to know how to join. She wants to join. I'll send you all the information, Denise.
Do you have her?
I do. I'll send it to her in a personal message.
He'll send it to you in a private message to Facebook. Okay,
right.
So look for that, Denise. All right.
And then we'll do the guide's closing message, and then we have an endorsement.
We have an endorsement?
You do.
Well, what did they say?
Well, you have to wait.
I have to wait?
The guides have to speak.
Okay. Ray has this. He's got this thing.
Get off a protocol here. See, we have a formula to this.
It's
just not random babble.
Is he the best, you guys? Give Ray hugs and loves. Come on. I want to see those lovies coming off the screen down there. Come on.
See.
But what is it they have to push to send the lovies?
I don't know. It's one of these 6 things.
What is it? Oh, yeah, at the bottom. Click on the little lovies for Ray. Ray's doing a great job.
There we go.
There we go.
Those are in case you haven't noticed, those are the 6 stages of relationships.
What are they, Ray?
From left to right. Those little 6.
Yeah. Uh-oh. They don't have to go down like that, you guys. Look at that. Thank you, you guys.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to close the session with tonight's insight, which is how different would your life be if you knew what was really going on. Okay. And here they go.
people seldom wonder how different their life would be if they understood what was going on and why. Not only would your life be different, but you would become a different person.
That's for sure. The person you really are.
Perhaps once you become an observer of what is going on around you and understand why it's like that and how it affects you, you wouldn't ever be asking, who would you be if you knew what was going on, but who wouldn't you be once you do know what's going on?
In other words, the person that you thought you were, the person you became to survive being in this world, would be weak compared to the person who really sees what's really going on, the real you. This is the person who came here, the person who's still connected, okay? The person who knows how to live in the flow and trust the moment and be present. That person knows what's really going on. When something happens in that person's world, in that person's life, some things just don't happen in their life and they just keep going on. Things happen in their life and they sit back and go, what just happened? They run it by themselves again in reflection. That's why this is important. Until you can do that, like it's alive inside of you, you need to write it down. So you have that practice down, so that it becomes a knee-jerk reaction, so that this, after doing this every day, do it 15 minutes every day, what was unusual and out of the ordinary for that day, like Ray was talking about. Make notes about, oh, my life happened today, but what really happened? What really happened in your life today? You hear how my voice changed? My life happened today, but what really happened? See, this world shouts, but this world whispers. This is where you get the truth. This is the covert truth that you will flesh out of this world when you write it down. And eventually what will happen when this happens, when this world happens, and then you sit back and you let it run by you one more time from over here, from your true self, from your real self, then you'll see it for what it was. You'll see what really happened. You'll see the messages in that. You'll see the truth in that. You'll see what it really meant. The spiritual meanings of the coronavirus, that's a point I'm trying to make here. It's what the spiritual meanings are, not what it looks like in this world where they say, all this fear, oh, all this is happening, oh, all these people died, oh my God, it's never going to stop. Okay, that won't help you until you examine what's really going on, the spiritual meaning of it. That's when you hit the gold. Okay.
Okay.
Always breathe.
Are you ready for that endorsement, hon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always breathe it in, you guys. Always breathe so you can release the tension of this world that tries to scare you, okay? Because that won't help you. When you breathe, then you can start letting in the what's really going on part, okay? The truth.
All right. This is a great endorsement. Are you ready? This is from Mary Elizabeth. I don't think it's a coincidence that my mom's name is Linda also.
I remember that.
I love my mom very much,
Oh,
but, there's the but, you are like the mom I wish I always had.
oh man. Well, you're like the daughter I wish I always had. And let me tell you, my daughter, oh my God. Read Guided, you guys, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's not like I didn't try, but you know, I don't know.
Well, you know, what I think,
Thank you, Mary Elizabeth. What a darling girl you are. Woman, you're a woman. You're not.
that's it. I just to give you my endorsement too. That's, you bring, on Tuesday nights, you bring so much experience. It goes into this clarity that you bring through from the guides and from your life's experience.
That's true. That's where it comes from. I don't tell you guys anything that I haven't lived.
Nope,
That
that's right.
I haven't perfected. I haven't spent years and decades
You
dedicated to
have-
understanding.
You have to experience it. You have to
You
live
have to
it.
walk it.
You have to walk it before you can talk it. And that's why there's no 22-year-old life coaches out there. Right?
You can't get certified enough to justify that, right?
Right.
All right.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, you guys.
We'll see everybody.
Well, maybe we'll
next
see you
week.
guys on Thursday. And Ray will send Denise
I will.
how you get into the group. The group is magical.
It's fabulous.
We only have 90 members in this group, Denise, but this group is very sensitive and loving and caring and all in heart energy, but strong women. These women are not weak. They're not, cream puffs. These women have walked through their own flames and they get what this is and they perfected this process. Ray and I spent on the teachers that run the group a year and a half teaching them.
Yeah.
And they have it. We would never unleash them on you guys if they didn't have it. All right. So throughout the week they have their lessons, and you guys are going to learn this. And you're going to, when you have this group, here's what happens to this group. There's 3 primary teachers in the group, and it's Kathy, Veronica, and Joy at this point. Now there's more and more people learning, so more teachers are going to show up as a result of that as they learn, And when they have something that comes up in their life that they need help with, they get together with each other in a clandestine type of situation, and they get together on their Zoom, just like we have with you guys right now, except it's all of them like the Brady Bunch, on the screen. And they all work together on a single question that one person comes in with, they need help with. And each one of them individually channel the answer so that they make sure that's proof that the information coming through is valid. It's not nonsensical. It's right on the money. These guys work hard on staying out of the way. So the guidance, it's pure guidance, just like it was meant to come through. The only thing you have to be ready for is the truth. If something comes through and you don't like what they said, that's your problem. Because the guides only come through with truth, and you know it's the truth because you feel the love in the truth. And that's why you know it's true. Each one of these teachers that channel the information about that is their hearts are in the right place, but they're strong because they know you need the truth. You don't need nonsense, okay? So these guys are on it, okay? This is like a group that doesn't even exist anywhere else.
And the whole idea of why the teachers joined the group in the first place is so they could learn to do it for themselves. And now they got so good at it, they can teach others.
And they love to teach you.
Right. So that may or may not happen to you. If you want to learn how to do it yourself, and then eventually you can help others.
You can become a teacher in the group.
Right.
And once you learn how to do it right. But they are there to help you every week. They have free lessons.
Yep.
Free lessons.
Free.
This comes from the right place. It comes from the right place.
All right. So,
okay, you guys, we'll see you this Thursday. We'll see you next Tuesday. Don't miss the spiritual meanings of the coronavirus. It's going to be so eye-opening because it's not fearful, but it's truthful. And it gets right to the core reasons why this exists in our world and what it's meant to convey so that humanity can finally get it right so we don't need these viruses to, bam, get our attention. All All right?
That's right.
All right.
I just realized what your background is tonight. That's the Aurora Borealis.
Is it beautiful, you guys? Isn't
Wow.
that great?
That's cool.
I love this. Getting close to St. Patrick's Day, thought this would look great.
Oh, what is it? 3 months or a month from what? Yesterday?
Is it right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
St. Patrick's Day. All right. We will see you maybe Thursday, and we'll see the rest of you next Tuesday.
We look forward to it.
All right. Good night, everybody. Be kind.